Bandwidth for today's show is brought to you by SoftLayer.com. We love SoftLayer here at Talkapolis. They are the greatest hosting company ever. They make everything easy. Check out their website at SoftLayer.com. Thanks again for sponsoring the show.
Talkapolis, the social media TV network for your city.
And welcome back, everybody, to Political Soup. Joe Williams, Crum Carmichael. Crum, we were told that the sky was going to fall down, and gracious sequester has made the sky not fall down, but we can't get into it because we're under so many delays because of these cuts to the FAA. How in the world? I mean, how long is it going to take the Republicans to come back and get us back in the air?
You know, this is another example of a politician, in this case, it's the president, who is trying to inconvenience the public to try to send a message. Now, in our own state, Governor McWhorter, and I thought a lot of Governor McWhorter. I liked Ned McWhorter a lot. And when he reluctantly, and I say reluctantly, tried to pass an income tax, he said that if we don't pass an income tax, the school buses will not run. And
Right.
I don't remember what year it was, but I do remember the date. He said the school buses will not run after April 1st. Because I remember at the time I was on the radio, and I asked whether or not the governor understood the irony of using April Fool's Day
yeah.
for his threat. And the school buses stopped, and somebody did get run over in a parking lot.
And that was it.
And the school buses started the next day. Now, let's fast forward. Republican Governor Sundquist, when he tried to pass an income tax, he said, oh, things are terrible. If we don't pass an income tax, this, and this will happen. So he takes everything that the public cares about or likes, the conveniences like the state parks and different things, and he cuts off the funding for those things to try to make things terrible. And he didn't get his income tax. Well, now we have the president who's now saying, because of the sequester, we have to cut back on airport security, which means that it'll take longer for people to get through security and onto their planes. Now, in the first place, when we fly, we pay a $5 tax for that security.
Right.
So the funding is absolutely there. So
Right.
that is an absolute falsehood, what Obama's saying. That's number one. Number two, as they point out to the transportation infrastructure, the House Transportation Infrastructure Chairman Bill Schuster suggests that the FAA whack $500 million of spending that they use for consultants and $325
Careful
million.
now.
Yeah, $325 million for supplies and travel.
Yeah.
Now, you could do that. There are ways to reduce your spending, and frankly, you could probably reduce some bureaucrats who are sitting on their butt in Washington instead of reducing the people who are out at the airports. But we're going to have to live through this, and then the question is going to be, how does the media report it? And that, to me, there's two stories that are unrelated, but still have a little bit of a knot in the middle.
I don't know if I'd call it unrelated. I know I was kidding earlier in the tease about how much you like Ann Curry. Now, I think actually you do. You can deal with Ann Curry. I think she's a fine reporter. And you know, let's face it, it was funny. For those of you catching up, Ann Curry was years at NBC. Mm-hmm. And was pushed onto the set as part of the team of the Today Show.
Yeah, co-anchor with Matt Lauer.
Lauer, yeah. And not long after was pushed right out the door.
Yeah, I mean, unceremoniously fired. But the interesting thing is I came across a story where apparently for the last few months that she was there, she felt like that she was tortured. That's her word. In quotes. That's her word in quotes. And because the staff loved making fun of her. And this is not just her coworkers, these are her bosses. These are her producers. And they are, this is one where it says, even the show's executive producer, Jim Bell, supposedly took to teasing Curry. Shelter reports that Bell commissioned a blooper reel of Curry's worst on-air mistakes. And now, and it says another unnamed producer, another one, claims that Bell once called staff members into his office to show a mistake Curry made while talking on air with a local station. Bell denies both incidents. Now, this is a producer. Now, if this were a private company with a whole high-profile person, the media would love to be able to attack the higher-up who's beating up on the lower level employee. But in NBC, you won't get ABC. See, nobody will touch this story.
Look,
and
there's honor among thieves. I'm not going to touch it because it may come back to me someday.
Yes. Now, why does that relate to this story that we talked about earlier? And that is this. Let's watch how the media reports on these flight delays. Let's see whether or not the media reports that we already pay a tax that funds the TSA. Let's see if they report that. Let's see if the media reports that there's $325 million that could be cut from supplies and travel, or $500 million that's paid to consultants. Let's see if they do that, or if they say that it's the nasty old Republicans and the sequester that's causing the problem. So let's watch that, and that's why the two stories to me are kind of interesting, because in one case you got the higher ups who have beaten up poor Ann Curry. Now she wants a job someplace else, so she won't say a word.
She cannot afford to say a word to anybody, because let me tell you what happens. Even if you were wronged in a situation, her only option, even with this kind of stuff, would be to do what? File a complaint. And her next step, her only other option, is to file a federal suit of discrimination, hostile workplace. Let me tell you a little secret. She could win. She could win a nice amount of money, but she'll never work again in her chosen profession, not doing what she was doing, because even if she's right, she's still the one who sued her former employer, and employers in the future go, ain't no way.
Well, especially in the media business.
Oh, God, yes. Well, in any business, but especially in the media.
Because you've embarrassed people.
Yes.
And people in the media do not like being embarrassed.
Oh, no, because they're
perfect.
perfect.
But she could join Dan Rather at where's he working now? Oh,
Where is he? Is he current TV, maybe?
Yeah.
He's working for Al Jazeera, isn't he?
I don't know where he is,
Can they buy
but
him?
that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. She could be joining him.
What's the frequency, Mike?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Kenny, what's the frequency? Well, and, it could be worse. And as far as the FAA situation goes, Crom, why don't we, we talk about closing some of these towers. What about some of these small airports? And, boy, I'm subject to get blasted for some friends of mine for this, where heavy government subsidies are keeping small airlines in business where they're flying one or two people, but they fly every day.
Yeah.
There's Jackson, Tennessee is a perfect example. Jackson to Nashville you'd never be able to afford to operate even a Cessna out of that place. Guess what?
Yeah.
We're subsidizing it.
Yes. Yes, and that would be another example of how the government could look at things and say, we just can't afford to do that. In this case, though, the money is there, and I'm really more focused right now on how is the media going to report this, because if the media told the story about this, Obama, just like McWhorter and Sundquist, would back off of doing this kind of stuff.
Well, it would take a little investigative reporting.
Yes.
And investigative reporting is absolutely a lost art.
Well, this one
Unless
you don't even have to look very hard.
Well, I know.
Yeah. So
one of those. You're getting out of here today?
I am.
Now, understand you're going to get on a plane?
No, just driving in a car.
Smart move.
Yes,
because you'll probably get there quicker
Yes.
than if you tried to get on a plane. Folks, thanks for joining us this week on Political Soup. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you'll come back and see us again here on Talkapolis. I'm Joe Williams for Crom Carmichael. Been a great day. See you next time on Political Soup.